Hey everybody, we made it here to Jonathan Dickinson State Park in Florida. Our first sunset behind me. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a little hot, but other than that, we're having a great time.
Hey everybody, we are at Jonathan Dickinson State Park. This is in Fort Lauderdale. It's actually just above Fort Lauderdale in Jupiter. I'll throw it up on the map. Jupiter is a really nice town. We've found a whole lot of really nice restaurants, really expensive restaurants, so it is definitely upper class and a really nice area. When we stayed in New Orleans, it felt like the exact opposite, where it felt like the area around the campground was kind of like the ghetto a little bit. This is the exact opposite, very high scale and nice. So the park itself, let's first show you the site that we're in. This is the site. They only allow rigs up to 40 feet in length. They go through and they actually rake the sites and everything, even though it's like this kind of dirt gravel. So when we came in, it was like super pristine. If I look at the site that's next to me, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see all the little lines. They really pride themselves on making this state park really clean, and it's really windy. So hopefully that doesn't make too much noise. Here's another site that you can see over here. Here's another one. So our rig is a fifth wheel that is an Alliance Paradigm, 39.5 feet long, so almost 40 feet, and you can see the truck actually sits in front of it. Even though we have the short bed frame, we can actually park it straight, but I'm almost always tilt it like that a little bit because I like being as far away from the road as possible, because you never know what's going on. We have water, electric, sewer, and then the sites have this little clothesline, for which is kind of odd, barbecue grill, fire pit, and kind of an old ratty looking picnic table, which is kind of odd. They have all these little concrete walkways that go throughout the park everywhere. Some of them go to pavilions, some of them go to these little areas where they have restrooms and a washer and dryer sitting on the outside. And these little kind of buildings, and I'll walk over here real quickly, are everywhere. It's like almost like they want to have a bathhouse within, I don't know, like 50 foot at every campsite. It's hard to say, but ours, it would be like right over there, right behind the these plants. They have these large kind of plants up that kind of barrier the sections, so then you don't kind of have the eyesore of seeing the bathroom nearby, even though it's in a very short walking distance. That's kind of nice that they did that. You can see your neighbors, obviously. I mean, this isn't like one of those state parks where there's so much wooding around you that you cannot see your neighbors, but you can only see a couple of them. And even if we walk around to the different areas, it always remains the same. They have these kind of like privacy plant things up, which kind of neat, kind of different. So if you plan on having, like, 10 or 15 campers come together, they're all not going to be able to see each other probably. But if you have 4 or 5, they probably could be, you could have one here, one there, and you'd be kind of in the same area. What else can I tell you about this? Let me walk into my site, and maybe I'll give you some more insight. It was really easy to back in. When we were at Roosevelt State Park, we had the opposite experience. The thing that made this one so easy is you can see it's very flat, very flat, open grass all around these sites. So even if you have problems making sharp turns, you can basically just drive over the grass. And it's like this for almost every single site. Even the ones, this one is at a 45-degree angle. Ours is almost a 90. That one's almost a 90 also. But even though it's almost a 90, you don't actually have to do a 90. You can do more like a 45, because like I was saying, you can just kind of drive over the grass. It's like that at most of these sites. Seem very beginner friendly for actually access into the site. And you'll see that even in our site, ours looks almost just the same as the other one we showed you, where once again we have a picnic table, barbecue grill, fire pit, and then a clothing line. And once again, even though this is the main road, because we're in site number 1, there's all this privacy. So it's kind of nice that people can kind of peek in, between spots, but you don't feel like there's just people on the road always constantly staring at you for whatever reason. Even if you are in the very first site like we are in, it still is really kind of nice. Just gonna walk over here just a little bit to kind of show you around. This place is a bicycle mecca. And what I mean by that is they actually have bicycle trails, a lot of them. They have about 6 miles, I think, of regular bicycle trails, and then they have an off-road park for off-road bicycles. Their off-road park has very specific rules, requires a helmet, cannot be an e-bike. It specifically calls out they do not want anything that is not 100% human powered. So you cannot take your e-bikes into their off-road park. However, the ranger station does have, well, not the ranger station, the store, I guess it's the ranger station, the store does rent mountain bikes. So if you do come here and you have an e-bike but you do not have a regular bike and you decide you want to do the off-road park, you can just like rent a bicycle from them, no big deal. And then you can go do the off-road park also. They also rent kayaks and boats, and when I said boats, I think they're actually motorboats. I'm not 100% sure, like just, you know, kind of like little fishing boats, not like speedboats or whatever. But it was kind of interesting that they do offer all of that. They have a swimming area that's on the river. The swimming area had a very unusual sign. It said something like, if you see an alligator, notify the rangers immediately, do not approach the alligators, or something like that. So, like I said, we kind of like the pools and the hot tubs and stuff. We are not 100% sure we want to go swimming somewhere where you have to keep your eye out for dangerous wildlife. That does seem a little bit odd. We're not really like lake swimmers anyway, even though we did that as kids and stuff. That's just, I don't know, they seem dirty. So this is one of the pavilions. The pavilions are gigantic and they're all over the place. There's all kinds of pavilions. Hopefully you saw in the distance. Gigantic pavilions that easily look like they can support like, you know, 200 people. And they have them like all over the place. And this is a Pine Grove campground if you're curious. They have 2 campgrounds at Jonathan Dickinson State Park, if I did not state that already. The other campground, which is near the boat ramp, is a much smaller campground that supports smaller campers. It's not quite as ornate as the Pine Grove one. So if you had the choice, I would probably recommend Pine Grove, unless for some reason you want to be over next to the boat dock for some reason. The boat dock is actually immensely far away from here. When I say that, what do I mean by immense? That's a big word to use. I want to say it's probably like 10 miles from here. This park is humongous. Maybe that might be a little bit of an oversight. Maybe it's just 5 miles from here. But I know that if I was to get on my bike and go over there, I mean, it would probably take me like 15 minutes to get over to the boat ramp, even on a little bike. To drive over there would probably take me 5 minutes. I mean, it is really this park is really, really, really gigantically big. And then to kind of talk about the bikes again just for a second, I did say that they did not allow e-bikes, but just to be 100% clear, they do not allow them in the off-road park. You see people riding their e-bikes all over the place. I think there's like 5 or 6 miles within the park that you can ride the e-bikes. And then right when you go outside the gate of the park, there's a humongous road that has like a whole bike lane and bike section where you can ride up and down the main highway. Not on the highway, but it's like kind of actually off the highway or off the road or whatever. Humongous area. So there's a humongous area you can ride e-bikes, just not in their off-road park. So I'm gonna go jump on my bike actually and go see if I can film some more stuff for you guys, other than just walking around showing you stuff right around the campground. Hey guys, so this is a boat dock down here. You can see there are always like kayaks and stuff down here. There are the 2 little motorboats that I was talking about that you can rent. And then they do the tours on these bigger boats. And then this is the water area, obviously. Behind me is the concession stand with the mountain bikes that you can rent. In the little store, they have a bunch of, you know, variety of stuff that you'd expect in a concession stand. And then I think the food is actually back here where all the tables are. It looks more like a food truck kind of backed up to the building. Hey guys, so this is their off-road park. This is just the entrance of it. They got these like kind of jumps with like little loops, and they have all these rules, you know, like you know, helmets and everything are required. They didn't want you to be super safe, but I wanted to share with you just the entrance to the Camp Murphy off-road park. And I do not plan on riding on it this time. It's just the time doesn't really permit, and I have an e-bike, and like I was saying, this is just a mountain biking area only, for like human powered, not a e-bike. It looks like the little red box is probably a toolkit, so you can work on your bike. I've seen that before, and they've, it looks like air down here, and a spot where you can wash off, I guess, you and your bike if it gets muddy. And then they have the legend with all the stuff marked off on if it's like a novice or beginner or difficult. And then this is the actual park right here, and you can see they have the links here. So they have what looks like about 1.5 miles of green, which is beginner. Then they have 5.3 miles of blue black, and then another 3.2 miles of just straight blue. So maybe 10 miles of bike path. And then this would be the map right here, of course. So hopefully that helps out. Here's a kind of a pretty good map of the entrance. So we are camping way down here in Pine Grove. And then, like I was saying, they have this gigantic long thing that goes all the way around to get to the dock area, and also to get to where the bike park is. So oh, they have restrooms too, by the way, like little potty right at the entrance of the bike park. I do not know what these are. I'm assuming it's so you can hang your bike up. The front wheel would go on it, because I guess this place probably gets really busy and they need a spot to put your bikes.